Okay, what's the most important piece of advice you would give someone who is just coming into fighting games? Fighting games is definitely one of the genres that doesn't have like, is not that very easy to access. It's seen as one of the harder genres to get into, in all the games. Shooters you could just point and shoot. Not saying that shooters are easy, but basically just the gist of it. But when you get into fighting games, it's so many things to learn. And we spoke earlier about all the different terminologies and stuff like that come with fighting games. So you got to learn the language, you got to learn the game, you got to learn the different matchups. You have to learn so much when it comes into fighting games that a lot of people can kind of be intimidated and stuff like that by it. So, what piece of advice would you give someone that's just coming into fighting games, to help them, like, ease them into this, maybe not help them be as intimidated, or just a word of wisdom that you will give them that they can carry on in the fighting games that, would help them stay grounded? So, starting with you, Mr. Game and Lift, aka One Punch Man, give us your take.
My advice is just be patient and be willing to learn, because I think that's the main thing. Like, you just gotta be patient with it. Be willing to learn, because I think that one thing, I think we've talked about this before on the show, with newer people in fighting games. You may get around a group of friends that you have, and it's like you get a new game together, you learn together, and you might learn a little faster than your compadres, right? So you're beating them and everything, and it's like, oh well, I'm good, I'm super good. And then you actually play somebody that's been really playing for a while and actually understands the game at a deeper level. And then you get body, and you're like, well, I thought I was good, and then you just quit. So it's like you got to be patient and understand that you got to learn the game. You just got to learn what the game, whatever game it is, the ins and outs of it. You don't have to learn everything at one time, but just like, take it piecemeal, like learn this here, learn that here, and be patient. Like I said, you have to, it's with anything, you got to be patient. I think that's the biggest thing with fighting games. People don't give themselves enough time to like really get halfway decent before they just like, you know what, it's too hard, man. It's like, is it really too hard, or is it just because you're not winning a lot right now as a reason why you're like not sticking with it? And I feel like that's the case for a lot of people. It's like they start fighting game. It's like, well, I'm not winning a lot right now, so I don't think this for me. Is like, that's for anything. A lot of things you start, you're not just gonna be like spectacular at or be winning a lot, but you got to put in the time. But I think when it comes to a fighting game, it's just so direct. It's like one person versus another person, so you feel like that result should be like immediate. Like, I gotta beat this person. If I'm not beating that person, then this game is not for me, or fighting games aren't for me. But if you give yourself some time, you might realize this is for me, or I'm learning a little better now. And just kind of get, like I said, have that mindset to learn. Because again, losing is not always just like losing. You got to have that mindset to say, okay, if I lost, like, what did I lose by? Like, so you have to learn with that L. It's not because when you win, it's like you win, but sometimes people just want to win just to win. It's like, okay, I won, but do I realize why I won? What did I do that led to me winning? So my advice is just be patient. It's a process. It takes time with anything, and just be willing to learn. Like, don't think that, oh, I play this game against my friends all the time and I beat them, so I know what to do. You might be a lot of things you might not know how to do, but you're not willing to learn. So therefore, you're keeping yourself from knowledge that could let you allow you to get better at the game. So be patient and learn. That's what I would give advice to any new fighting game players.
For new fighting game players, I think one of the I would say, like, my main piece of advice would be, um don't take your losses too personally, and don't take your wins too seriously, because wins can be deceptive. I mean, like, wins can be, you could have won, but, like, I mean, there are times where I've won matches and I've been like, oh great, I won, but then, like, do you understand what exactly, like Devin was saying, did you understand what it took for you to win that match? Do you understand, like, all the points where you could have lost? Do you see all the points where you could have won earlier? Like, places for improvement? Like, are you really, really, like, can you really see what's going on here with, like, the process of how you're playing the game? And then on the flip side, don't take your losses too personally, because you're going to lose. That's just the way it's going to be, especially at the beginning. You're going to lose. Like, now, at the beginning, when you're playing with other people, like Devin was saying before, like you might be playing with your friends and you might be progressing a little bit faster than them. And then sometimes, you know, you go and you face somebody who's really good, or at least not even just really good, just better than you. And they beat you, and they beat you badly. And you're sitting there like, oh man, well, I'm terrible at this game. I'm horrible. How could I, like, and you know, you start getting frustrated with yourself. I think, like, and this kind of leads into, I guess, another piece of advice, which would be like, you really shouldn't be getting frustrated unless you've done everything possible that you can think of to get better at the game. I mean, if you've done everything that, you know, that you think of, that you can think of, and I mean, if people have been giving you advice and you've done all of that stuff in order to get better, then it might be time for you to be getting frustrated. Like, for instance, I've lost a few matches. I've lost a few tournaments and stuff like that. But I've realized that I can't be too mad because I only play one character. Really, I only play one character. I play Astaroth. I only play him. I don't play any other characters. I haven't really labbed any other characters. I haven't learned the top 10 moves for the other characters in the game. I haven't learned the frame data. You know, I haven't even really learned the frame data for my character yet. Like, I've only know a couple of moves, like the frame data for those things, and that's just kind of like, you know, that's not going to get you that far if everybody else knows the frame data sometimes. So, you know, it's kind of, you have to, if you haven't done everything in your power, if you haven't, like, gone through all the steps to make sure that, hey, you know what, I'm playing at peak capacity. I've practiced this for hours. I'm watching videos. I'm taking the advice. I'm labbing moves so I know what they look like. I'm looking at the command list. I'm working on my own inputs. If you haven't done all that work, there's really no point in getting frustrated. I mean, you might get frustrated initially, but there's no point in holding on to that long-term frustration when you could be, like, using that time that you're really mad at yourself to go improve. Like, so yeah, don't take your losses too personally, because if you're especially starting out, you haven't done anything. You're a little nooblet. You're a little tiny nooblet. You've just entered into the world of the fighting, whatever fighting game you're playing. You've just entered into it. So don't be so hard on yourself. Don't take your losses too personally, because you're at the very beginning. Even people that have been playing the game for a couple of years, they're still, like, learning stuff too. So don't get so down on yourself because you lost, and don't get too hyped on yourself when you win a match, because, you know, like, my dad, told me this one time. It's like, just remember, you're never as bad as they say you are, but you're never as good as you think you are either. So, you know, just keep your feet on the ground as far as, like, your wins and your losses are concerned. Do what you got to do. Focus on you know, getting the I guess, like, I would, like, people use this word a lot, fundamentals down, like your fundamentals, like your own, like your inputs, knowing your command list decently well, knowing some of the other commands for some of the other characters decently well, and you'll make it. You'll make it. So yeah, that would be my advice to new players.
A piece of advice I would have is don't compare yourself to anybody else. A lot of times, people can come in and they automatically are trying to strive to be their idols when they don't necessarily know what it took for that person to get where they were, the time it took for to get where they were, and, you know, their particular skills and gifts and things that they have that got them to where they are. You know, a lot of times, if you're a person that's coming in and you're automatically looking to Sonic Fox to be the next Sonic Fox, like, you're not Sonic Fox. Like, what Sonic Fox has done, not saying that nobody is able to do it, but that isn't it. Not everybody's gonna be that. If you look at all the different people that we know who are popular in fighting games, everybody has their own path. Everybody has done their own thing. Everybody has their own accolades that they can, you know, attest to and things like that. Everybody has a different path, and everybody has a different way that they impact the scene. So, you know, and also when it comes to, like, you know, taking advice on games, I know a lot of times people can, you know, study one person so much and listen to what they say so much. It's like you're just basically becoming the next them. Like, you're not even putting your own spin to things. You're not even putting your own, you know, influence on things. It's just like you're just trying to become the next them when that's something that you will never be. Like, you cannot be another person. So you should be able to take, like, you know, bits and pieces from all over and just put them in your skill set, put them in your toolbox, and let that make you the best you that you can be. So, and you know, that's easy to burn out so fast if you're talking about I'm trying to be the next them. Like, well, when you're on the road to progress of making yourself better, that's everything you do, you're gonna compare to them, and probably everything's gonna be a failure to you because you're not gonna be them. Like you didn't see the times when they were failing, when Justin Wong was in the arcades getting bought before he got good. You know, when Sonic Fox was first learning how to play games and he was probably getting thrashed. You know, you don't see that. You're just seeing where they are now and you're comparing yourself to that. And that's an easy way real fast to just knock yourself off course and just be like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. So, you know, make sure you're focusing on your path, your journey, and be able to notice the things that you are doing better and better each time, each day. You know, a lot of times you'll hear players playing. A lot of people will tell people like, hey, man, you're getting better at this. You're doing better at that, you know. Listen to those things and keep your mind in positive places and don't focus so much on the negative. Like, I'm not here, I'm not there, but where are you now compared to where you were before? And just notice that this trend is going upward. So that's some advice that I'd give. Just don't compare yourself to anyone else. You know, focus on being the best you, because that's all you can be is the best you.